If you wanted to travel this summer, chances are a little weary now. You may not be able to go to Spain, Germany, or even Manitoba, but there are some local spots that you can fulfill your road trip needs. Joining us now, we have Sarah, a winning concierge and travel expert with the scoop on often overlooked destinations where you can avoid the crowds. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Can we hear? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has changed when it comes to travel?
So what we're really seeing is that there's this pent-up demand for travel.
Okay.
And while cleanliness is definitely relevant, we're seeing signs that are indicating that people are just really ready to get outside of their living rooms in a smart way. So thinking outdoor activities and not around crowds. Now, having said that, the current trends in the dynamic environment that we have right now is really staying fairly close to home, which is why this is proving to be the summer of road trips. So you can think 1, 2, 3, even 4-night stays.
Okay, and where are people headed to from Fargo? I know that a lot of people, Vegas is pretty popular. I guess, what are some popular spots?
Yeah, so I'll share with you a couple of picks that I have actually that might be a little bit off the beaten path. First pick I'd suggest would be a quick 3.5-hour drive to Minneapolis. What's great about Minneapolis, they've got 22 different lakes, the Mississippi River running right through the downtown area. So there's a lot to do outdoors, which is what travelers are really looking for. If you want to do an added element of luxury, you can stay at the Hotel Ivy, which is a luxury collection hotel. And it also happens to be a landmark in the city on the National Register of Historic Places. So that's just a great option. Another option, if you'd like, is actually Des Moines, which is about a 7-hour drive. That you've got Saylorville Lake, Grays Lake. Those are great options for water activities. Then there's also the Greater Des Moines High Trestle Trail. So that's not only 25 miles long, so it's great if you are really an avid hiker, but it also has a half-mile, 13-story bridge that lights up at night. So if you're there, I'd say I'd stay at the Des Moines Marriott downtown because it's just close to all of the city's action. And then if you want, I've got one more for you.
Love travel, so give us all the spots you got.
Perfect. Great. So finally, I would say head over to Madison. It's worth a little bit longer drive, about 7.5 hours. The city has, again, lots of green spaces, trails, lakes, parks. The Henry Vilas Zoo actually happens to be one of 10 free zoos in the nation as well. And it's open, which is key. State Street in downtown has this pedestrian zone as well, too. And when you're there, I would stay at the nearby AC Hotel. And it happens to have easy access to the University of Wisconsin Madison campus. So as we're seeing, just road trips are a great way to scratch that travel itch while still doing our part in today's dynamic environment.
Okay, and tell us about the deals. Are they worth it?
In short, yes, definitely. So the best insider advice that I can give you is to book direct. You will always get the best rates. And then if you're part of a loyalty program, you'll actually be able to earn rewards points as well as have access to special members rates. So now keep in mind, all of this is just based on availability, but I did just check before we got on, and all the places I mentioned still have availability before the 4th of July. So that's good.
Okay, and tell us about some red flags. I guess, what happens if you need to cancel or you kind of feel a little iffy about going?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And honestly, I get asked that a lot, especially if you're looking for value. That means that you have to factor in cancellation policies. But the great thing is that hotels are pretty flexible right now. And some just have policies that will actually let you cancel up to 24 hours in advance. So quite frankly, that just takes a lot of the price risk out of it. So at the end of the day, I would say go ahead and book, plan your summer trip, your summer road trip, and go ahead and get out there.
And you gave us so many amazing places. I guess ranking wise, what would be your number one? Like, you got to drop everything. This is what you got to do first.
Ooh, I would have to say I would do Minneapolis of the three of that I just gave you, just because it's a little bit shorter and there's so much to do outside. And really, that's what we're just seeing and right now is that people are just really looking to get outside, have that space, socially distance, and still just get outside of their living rooms, but still being smart about it.
Okay, and then we have a little bit of extra time. I guess, what are some other tips that people should know coming from an expert like yourself?
Well, what's great is what we're seeing in hotels is that they've really stepped up to the plate. So when it comes to protocols and making different changes, they have really gone above and beyond. So what you might see might look a little different. You can, as soon as you walk into a lobby, you might have some of the furniture positioned with a little bit more room. If you're looking for breakfast, a lot of grab and go items. Even the pool area, you might see some of the lounge chairs might be spaced a little differently. So again, the experience might look a little different, but it's definitely, they're doing a great job. And if you ever have any questions, always calling a hotel ahead of time. You always have somebody on the other end that is able to answer any questions that you might have. And they're really forthcoming with a lot of that information.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I always love talking about travel.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And coming up on today's show, we are preparing for the worst to make sure you stay safe.